Hello, my friends, and welcome to Lucky English for Beginners.
Yes, welcome. It is so good to be here with you today for this really important deep dive.
It really is. And today we are tackling a topic that I think every single language learner struggles with.
Oh, absolutely. The translation trap.
Right, the translation trap. You know that exact feeling when someone asks you a very simple question in English and suddenly your brain just completely freezes.
Yes, the dreaded delay. It is terrible.
It is. You know the concepts, right? You know what you want to say, but there's this massive panic-inducing traffic jam in your head.
Exactly. You are frantically scrambling around to find the right words.
Yeah.
And you are mapping them against grammar rules that you maybe only half remember.
Oh, yeah, the grammar rules. And by the time your sentence is finally ready to, deploy, the conversation has already moved 3 topics away.
It is universally frustrating for beginners and intermediate learners alike.
Totally. And that is exactly what we're looking at today in this deep dive. We have a fascinating stack of research papers on cognitive linguistics.
Yes. And we also have case studies on neuroplasticity, plus some really detailed field notes from polyglots.
And our mission today is very simple. We want to equip you with practical, actionable steps to completely dismantle this translation trap.
We want to show you how to stop translating in your head and start actually thinking in English.
Because that is the true bottleneck, isn't it?
Yes, it is the main barrier. It is rarely a lack of vocabulary that causes you to freeze up. It is the fundamental way your brain is processing the thought.
Okay, so let's unpack this traffic jam first. What is actually happening neurologically when we hit that wall?
Well, your brain is essentially overheating. It is experiencing severe cognitive overload.
Overload, like a computer.
Exactly like a computer. Think about your working memory as the RAM in your laptop. It has a very strict biological limit on how much it can handle at once.
Right. It can only do so many things before it slows down.
Yes. So when someone asks you a question in a new language, your deeply ingrained instinct is to fire up your native language machinery.
Because that is the path of least resistance.
Exactly. That neural highway is already built. It is paved, it is fast, so you automatically formulate a really sophisticated response in your mother tongue first.
And then the trouble starts.
Yes, then the trouble starts. Because you take that native language thought and you force your working memory to mentally translate it word by word.
Which means you are applying a completely different set of grammar rules.
Right. Before you finally push it out of your mouth, it is exhausting.
So it's basically like trying to run complex Windows software on a Mac computer using an emulator program.
Oh, that is a perfect analogy. Yeah.
Like, the computer gets incredibly hot, the cooling fans start screaming, and everything just lags.
Because the system has to translate every single line of code in real time just to display a simple image on the screen.
You are demanding native-level performance from a brain that's running a very heavy middleman process.
And we call this the 2 times brain trap. You are making your brain construct the exact same sentence twice.
Once in your native language and once in English.
Yes, and it is inherently slow. And furthermore, direct mental translation frequently produces total grammatical chaos.
Oh, I know that from personal experience.
We all do. A sentence structure that makes perfect logical sense in your native tongue might just be total gibberish when you translate it word for word into English.
You are applying the physical laws of one universe to the machinery of another universe. It just doesn't work.
It does not.
So here is where it gets really interesting for our listeners, because the first strategy from the research to delete this emulator, it isn't to study more complex grammar.
No, not at all.
It is actually to go in the complete opposite direction. The advice is to think in incredibly small, simple sentences.
Yes. Drastically lowering the cognitive load is the only way to build a new, direct neural pathway.
So you have to bypass your native language entirely.
Exactly. And you simply cannot do that while you are trying to process complex, abstract theories. You have to start with the absolute bare bones basics.
I like what? Give us some examples of these simple sentences.
Things like, I am sitting on a chair. The sun is bright. I feel warm.
Wow, that is basic. So you are just narrating your immediate physical reality.
Yes, exactly.
So let's say I'm on a bus. Normally, my internal monologue is stressing out about an upcoming meeting or analyzing an email from yesterday.
Right. Highly complex thoughts.
But I'm supposed to swap that out for simple observations like, the bus is full, people are standing, I have a seat.
Yes. You are taking what the research calls a word photo.
A word photo.
Yes, you are capturing a snapshot of your environment using very basic English vocabulary.
I have to admit, though, as an adult learner, someone who uses language for professional or intellectual reasons, this feels far too basic.
It does feel a little strange at first.
Right, because I have complex thoughts. I want to debate economics or express nuance. If I am sitting on my commute just saying, the bus is full, isn't that sparing my intellect?
It feels reductive, yes. Maybe even a bit childish, but you have to consider the neurological mechanics of the exercise.
Okay, break that down for us.
Every single time you form a complex thought in your native language and then try to translate it, you are actively strengthening that emulator.
You are practicing the bad habit.
Exactly. You are reinforcing the habit of translation. But when you force a simple word photo directly in English, you create a direct synaptic link.
A link between what?
Between your visual cortex, the actual image of the full bus, and your English vocabulary center. You are starving the old translation pathway of oxygen.
Oh, I see. Okay, it is like a professional artist going back to sketching basic shapes.
That is a wonderful way to think about it.
You have to master drawing the foundational outlines, the simple circles, the basic squares, so automatically that your hand just does it without thinking.
Right, because if you have to consciously think about how to draw a simple curve, you will never be able to paint a complex masterpiece.
That makes perfect sense. The immediate goal isn't poetry. The goal is to short-circuit that translation reflex.
Yes. And once that direct link is established with simple word photos, your brain will naturally scale it up to accommodate much more complex vocabulary later.
Okay, so I'm buying the word photos. We are sketching our basic shapes. But here is the logical flaw I am seeing.
Let's hear it.
If I am only taking mental snapshots with the simple vocabulary I already know, how do I ever get the new words to eventually paint that masterpiece?
That is the next step.
Because if I am avoiding my bilingual dictionary to keep the emulator shut down, where do the new words come from?
Your brain requires raw data. You cannot output language if you are not feeding your system the right ingredients.
Makes sense.
And this brings us to the critical concept of input. You need to flood the brain with the target language through listening and reading.
So surrounding yourself with English, like podcasts, movies with subtitles, maybe English music.
Exactly. Constant input.
But the research notes mention something really specific here that I actually want to push back on.
The children's books.
Yes. They heavily recommend simple children's books for adult beginners. And I'm sitting there thinking, wait a minute.
It sounds strange, I know.
If I need to lead a business meeting, how is reading The Very Hungry Caterpillar going to help me? Won't that just teach me how to talk to a toddler?
It definitely seems counterproductive if you only look at the vocabulary itself. But you are not reading the book to learn the word caterpillar.
Then what am I reading it for?
You're reading it to train that mechanism of direct association we just talked about.
Oh, the direct link?
Yes. Adult brains often struggle with pure auditory immersion. Without context, the English noise just gets filtered out by the brain.
Right. It just sounds like Charlie Brown's teacher. Wah, wah, wah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the genius of a children's book is the multimodal reinforcement. The language is very clear, and crucially, it is heavily supported by visual aids.
So if there is a picture of an apple and the text says apple, my brain does not have to translate the English word into my native language to understand it.
Precisely. The visual cortex recognizes the picture of the apple and links it directly to the new phonetic string, apple.
No native language middleman required.
Right. Children's books are essentially structured, prepackaged word photos. They train your brain to associate English words with concepts and images, not with native language translation.
Wow. And as you absorb this input over time, whether it's through those simple books or just constantly listening to English podcasts, something fundamental shifts in the brain, doesn't it?
It does. The pattern recognition changes.
It goes from feeling like an alien code to feeling like a normal rhythm.
Yes. Passive absorption is vital for that pattern recognition. You see, the human brain is a prediction machine.
A prediction machine?
Yes. When it hears the English language enough times, it stops treating it as a puzzle that needs to be actively solved. It starts anticipating the sounds organically.
It becomes like music for your brain, like having a catchy song stuck in your head. The rhythm just embeds itself through sheer exposure.
Exactly. But as powerful as passive input is, the linguistic research highlights a massive cliff that people tend to fall off right about here.
The fluency cliff.
Right. Passive listening does not equal spoken fluency. You can listen to English for 10 years, understand complex podcasts perfectly, and still completely freeze when someone asks you to speak.
Why is that? If the brain knows the words, why can't the mouth say them?
Because the physical machinery of speaking hasn't been trained at all.
The physical machinery, like the mouth muscles.
Yes. A listener can develop an immense passive vocabulary while their active spoken vocabulary remains near zero.
Which brings us to a really fascinating active listening technique designed to bridge that gap. The research calls it shadowing.
Shadowing. It is incredibly effective.
This absolutely blew my mind when I read about it. Explain how shadowing works for our listeners.
It tackles the physical deficit directly. You listen to English being spoken, maybe an audiobook, a podcast, or even this exact deep dive, and you repeat the words instantaneously.
Instantaneously?
Yes, just a fraction of a second behind the speaker.
Like a near instantaneous echo.
Exactly like an echo.
Yeah.
You are copying the vocabulary, sure, but more importantly, you are copying the cadence, the intonation, and the exact physical shapes the mouth makes.
So mechanically, what is this actually doing in the brain that just, say, reading a text out loud doesn't do?
Well, it activates the phonological loop in your working memory, and simultaneously, it engages Broca's area.
Broca's area.
Yes, it is the specific region in the frontal lobe of your brain that is responsible for speech production.
Oh, wow.
When you just listen to a podcast passively, Broca's area is relatively quiet. Your articulatory muscles, your tongue, your jaw, your vocal cords, they aren't learning anything new.
Because they aren't moving.
Exactly. And the phonetic shapes required for English might be entirely different from the phonetic movements of your native language.
Right, so shadowing forces those muscles to perform real-time gymnastics.
Yes, physically adapting to the new language, while the audio input guides the movement.
It's basically like learning a complex martial arts form.
That is a great comparison.
You stand directly behind the instructor, and you mirror their exact movements in real time. You aren't just memorizing the steps intellectually on a whiteboard. You are building the physical muscle memory.
Exactly. So when the time comes to perform the move, your body just knows what to do. With shadowing, you are literally building physical muscle memory in your mouth.
That is incredible. Okay, so we are rewiring the visual links with word photos. We are soaking up contextual input with simple books, and we are shadowing to build that oral muscle memory.
That is the foundation.
But eventually we have to generate our own original sentences. Because, input is English going in, output is English coming out.
Yes, the circuit has to be completed.
And the most common hurdle I hear from learners right here is, well, I don't have a conversational partner. Not everyone lives in an English-speaking city.
Right. The assumption that output requires a native-speaking conversational partner is one of the biggest bottlenecks in language learning.
So what is the solution?
The most accessible solution is actually to talk to yourself.
Talk to yourself out loud. Now, I really have to challenge this.
I know, it sounds a little crazy.
It does. If I am wandering around my house, narrating my life, my family is going to think I have completely lost it. I'm just walking around saying, "Hello, fridge. I am opening the door. The milk is cold."
They might give you a few strange looks, yeah.
And beyond looking crazy, if I am just talking to myself, who is there to correct my mistakes? Am I not just cementing bad grammar into my brain?
That is a very, very common concern. But it misunderstands the primary goal of this specific exercise.
Okay, clarify the goal for us.
The immediate bottleneck for a beginner is not grammatical perfection. It is the sheer cognitive friction of spontaneous speech.
The freezing up.
Right. Consider the psychology of a typical conversation with a native speaker. As learner, your brain is under immense pressure.
Oh, absolutely. You are scanning their face to see if they understand you. You are worrying about your accent. You are terrified of using the wrong verb tense. The anxiety is just through the roof.
And that anxiety triggers a mild stress response. Your cortisol spikes.
Which is bad for thinking, right?
Very bad. The cortisol actively inhibits the prefrontal cortex, which is the exact part of the brain you need to recall vocabulary and construct sentences.
Wow. So the stress response literally makes it harder to speak?
Yes. But when you are alone in your kitchen, just making your morning coffee, and you say out loud, I am making coffee. The coffee smells good. I am a little hungry.
There is zero social pressure.
Exactly. There's zero pressure.
Because my coffee does not judge my grammar.
Exactly. Your kitchen is a zero-stakes environment. You completely bypass that cortisol spike.
Oh, that is brilliant.
Your brain can practice the highly complex cognitive and physical act of spontaneous speech without the paralyzing fear of judgment. You can stumble over a word, pause for 5 full seconds, and just try again.
Every single attempt strengthens the output engine.
Yes, it does.
It is like hosting your own private morning radio show. Welcome to the kitchen, folks. Today we are making toast.
Yes, exactly.
You pull from your immediate surroundings, you revert back to those simple word photos, but you are vocalizing them. And the notes for this section emphasize a very specific mantra: comfortable, not perfect.
Because perfectionism is the enemy of fluency.
Right.
The goal of the kitchen radio show is not to produce a flawless grammar textbook. The goal is friction reduction.
Just getting the wheels turning.
Yes. You are training the brain to feel comfortable initiating the process of generating language. The grammatical precision comes later, refined through more input.
Which brings up writing, too. The research mentioned jotting down a really simple diary entry before bed.
Yes, a daily diary is excellent.
Like, I went to the store, I bought bread, the bread was good. It forces you to slow down and physically produce the language.
It closes that same loop, but through the motor skills in your hand. Writing engages slightly different neural pathways, but it serves the exact same purpose.
Low-stake, self-directed output.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Both speaking to yourself and writing are essential for completing the circuit.
So let's say a listener is fully on board. They are ready to do the word photos, they are gathering input, they are shadowing, and they are ready to host their kitchen radio show.
They are doing all the right things.
But the inevitable next question is about time. People look at a list of strategies like this and think, I need 3 hours a day to do all this. I have a full-time job. I have kids. I just can't do it.
Yes, and the reliance on massive, grueling study sessions is a fast track to burnout.
So what does the cognitive research say about time?
It is very clear. To rewire the brain and build new default pathways, volume in a single sitting is far less important than consistency.
Okay, so what is the recommendation?
The recommendation is just 10 minutes a day.
Wait, just 10 minutes? Come on. Is that actually enough time to move the needle on a completely new language?
Yes. 10 minutes every single day will yield dramatically better results than a 3-hour cram session on a Saturday afternoon.
That is hard to believe. What does this mean for the brain? Why does the brain prefer the 10-minute drip over the 3-hour flood if the total weekly hours are roughly the same?
It comes down to synaptic plasticity, and specifically, how the brain consolidates memory during sleep.
During sleep?
Yes. When you expose your brain to a new language for a short burst every single day, you are repeatedly sending a crucial signal to your nervous system.
It shows.
You are telling it, this information is relevant to our daily environment. Keep these pathways active. And the brain strengthens those synapses a little bit each night.
So sleep is actually doing the heavy lifting for the learning process.
Sleep is when the learning truly solidifies. Conversely, a massive 3-hour session is interpreted by the brain as an isolated high-stress anomaly.
Because it doesn't happen every day.
Right. And because working memory is limited, it quickly reaches saturation. Most of the information crammed in hours 2 and 3 simply spills over and is discarded by the brain to save cognitive space.
That makes complete sense. I mean, it is the exact same mechanism as physical exercise.
Exactly the same.
Doing 10 focused push-ups every single morning sends a constant signal to your body to build muscle and adapt. But attempting 300 push-ups on a random Saturday once a month won't make you stronger.
No, it will just result in a torn muscle.
Right. A lot of pain, and you will probably quit the next day.
The physiological mechanism is identical here. You do not build an English house in a single manic weekend. You build it by laying a single brick every day.
One 10-minute brick. I love that. But the trick to actually doing it, according to the behavioral research in our stack, is something called habit stacking.
Yes, habit stacking is the key to consistency. You tether the new habit to an existing non-negotiable daily routine.
So if you already drink a cup of coffee every morning?
You don't need to find 10 new minutes in your schedule. You just attach your English practice to the coffee.
It becomes your morning English coffee time. You listen to a short podcast, you shadow a few sentences, or you just do your kitchen radio show while the water boils.
Exactly. By tying it to the coffee, the tea becomes automatic. After a week, it just feels normal.
And over weeks and months, the resistance drops to zero.
Yes. Those tiny daily 10-minute bricks compound into massive, undeniable neurological changes.
So, to synthesize all of this for everyone listening, achieving fluency and dismantling that mental traffic jam, it isn't about memorizing flashcards until you are dizzy.
No, it is about fundamentally rewiring how your brain processes thought.
Deleting the emulator by starting with simple word photos, creating direct visual to vocabulary links.
Feeding the system with contextual input. Using shadowing to build actual physical muscle memory in your jaw and vocal cords.
And then fearlessly generating your own output in the zero judgment zone of your kitchen.
And cementing all of those neural pathways with a steady, sustainable 10-minute daily brick. The pursuit of comfortable, not perfect.
I really love that. Now, before we sign off on this deep dive, I want to leave you, our listeners, with a thought that really struck me as we were analyzing the mechanics of these simple word photos.
It is a beautiful concept.
We discussed narrating your immediate reality to bypass translation, forcing yourself to notice the full bus, the blue sky, the warm sun, the exact smell of the coffee.
Right, re-engaging with basic sensory inputs to build those direct vocabulary associations.
But think about the broader implications of that act. When we are rushing through our normal days using our native language, we completely ignore the blue sky.
We take it for granted.
We don't really taste the coffee.
Yeah.
We are entirely lost in our abstract anxieties, our to-do lists, and our internal emulator.
We are rarely present.
Exactly. So if you start narrating your daily life in these simple, objective ways just to learn a new language, might the process actually make you more mindful and deeply present in your everyday life than you normally are in your native tongue?
That is fascinating. The mechanical process of language acquisition inadvertently becomes a powerful exercise in mindfulness.
By forcing your brain to pause and find the simple words in a new language, you are suddenly truly seeing the physical world around you again.
You are awake to your surroundings.
So the next time you find yourself freezing in a conversation, feeling that frustrating delay in your head, just take a breath, look at your surroundings, and take a word photo.
The complex masterpiece will come, one brick at a time.
Beautifully said. Thank you all for joining us on this deep dive, and we will catch you in the next one.